Hey guys, it's Eddie here from Dilleen Property. Today we're doing questions and answers, and today I'm doing a quick video answering Jason. And Jason basically inquired with us on Facebook, and I'm going to read you basically what he said, his question, and I'm basically just going to come back right with an answer right away. So we'll jump right into it. The question was, well, this is how the message went anyway. Jason said, "Hey Eddie, your story is very inspirational with the property portfolio you've built. I'm currently at uni and saving my ass off for a deposit one day. I have about 22K so far. While I'm at uni for another 2 years, do you think buying an investment property when I get to around 40,000 in savings is a good idea while I'm still at uni? Do you think it's smart or risky? I plan to buy in Queensland. Wanted to hear your thoughts." And thanks for getting in contact with us, Jason. I really appreciate you saying my story was inspirational. Really appreciate that. So thank you. I'm going to try to answer the question as best I can, and bear in mind this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just from my experience with building my own property portfolio. Look, do I think it's a smart or risky move? It can go either way. It really depends on your position, how much information you have, and what your goals are as well over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years with property investing. It really depends on what you want to achieve, and not knowing the full extent of your situation and what you want to achieve, it's a little bit hard to give exact information. But do I think it's a smart or risky idea? Would I do it if I didn't go to uni, but if I went to uni and I was in your position, what I would do basically is learn between now, like you've got that savings and you're working towards that 35, 40K mark, which is really good. It's a good sweet spot where you can actually buy an investment property to get in the market. If it was me, what I would do is continue saving as much as possible. And I guess while you're doing that, learn as much information as possible in terms of reading as many property investment books as you can find. When I was buying my first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, I just would try to read, and I didn't like reading at the time. I absolutely hated it. I just thought it was a waste of time. Thought it was for nerds, but I knew it was important. So I forced myself to read things that were I didn't read just books about random stuff. I read books that were like property investing books, such as Rich Dad Poor Dad, personal growth development books like Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, all those other kind of books that that will help you grow and help you, I guess, learn more about different things, property investing, and getting to the next level. So what I would do personally is, while you're saving, educate yourself as much as possible. And I know it's probably hard with doing different things, uni, working, and all the rest of it, but that kind of education, especially when it comes down to property investing, is very important. And speaking with someone who's actually done it before, I'm not sure if you have friends or know of other people who have bought a lot of property before, and even watching YouTube videos like this, or listening to property investment podcasts, trying to gain as much information, knowledge as possible while you're still saving. And in terms of is it smart or risky, I think it's a smart idea. Definitely, if you'd be young from still being in uni, the earlier you can get in property investing is much better. So how I grew my portfolio, a lot of different ways how I did it, is I got started very young. I got started when I was about 18 years old, but I was thinking about buying an investment property when I was like 16. So between 16 and 18, 19, I was just educating myself as much as possible, and really looking at different markets, looking at different things I could learn, looking at, just trying to get that information behind me. So, but starting off young gives you a massive opportunity and a massive head start, as opposed to what most people get, normally do, because most people don't really start thinking about property investing until they're 25, 35, 45 years old. And then by then, if they started when they were in their early 20s, they could have held a property for 20 years. It could be paid off by then, or they could have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 properties by then, by utilizing that time more efficiently and starting before all your other commitments start. Because as soon as you put it aside and keep putting it off and keep putting it off, time gets away. And the older you get, the more responsibilities you get, and the more obstacles you're going to have to overcome later on. For someone in their late teens or early 20s, they might still be living at home. They might not have kids, a family that they have to take care of and support. They might only be responsible for themselves, etc. So the earlier you can get started is much, much better. I really would, if I was in your position, instead of waiting the next 1 or 2 years, I'd try to buy one, if I was you, within the next 6 to 8 months. As soon as you can save to get to that, say, $30,000, $35,000, $40,000 mark, and you have the right education and you've spoken to someone and I guess got the right guidance in that sense, I'd jump in there and do it as quick as possible, because you never know what's going to come up, and something always comes up, whether it's a holiday, family expense, replacing a car breaking down, whatever it is. Expenses always come up, and there's always going to be an excuse to come up that sounds good of why you didn't take that leap of faith and buy your first investment property. So I strongly suggest you do it as soon as possible. Ways also, which I wrote down, basically how you can, I guess, save to get there a lot quicker, would be you could sell some stuff that you don't have. I'm not sure on the exact situation, but for me personally, when I was saving and I was buying a lot of property deposits, I got 2-3 jobs at a time. Now I'm not sure how busy you are and how much more work you can do without knowing your full situation, but that's just what worked for me. I got a second job. I was working as a bartender at night at 2 different places. So I'd come home from work at one job, and then I'd work an extra 4 or 5 hours as a bartender to save more money, and I did that for months and years to save more deposits. Another way is just sell stuff you don't need. There's a lot of people that have stuff just lying around the house they don't need. I had a car that was worth around $10,000, and I sold it and bought a car that was worth about $1,000. So I put that $9,000 into savings, had it with other savings that I had, and then used that to buy another property. So you got to get creative about it, and you just got to be really, really determined to get there. So yeah, I hope this video helps. Do I see it as a smart or risky investment? If you know your facts, know your figures, you do the right research, it's definitely the smartest move you'll make. So I strongly suggest do it as soon as possible, but get the right education and knowledge before you do it. And yeah, I hope this video has helped. If you have any more questions, send them through, and I look forward to catching you in the next video. Bye.